The moment you opened this message was not random, my child, and the quiet stirring you felt before you pressed play was not imagination. Something in your spirit sensed that a word was waiting. A message that had been held for the exact moment your heart would be ready to receive it. I have been watching the path you have walked, every step you took even when you believed no one noticed, every quiet decision made in the privacy of your thoughts, every tear that fell in the late hours when the world around you had already gone silent. There was a moment not long ago when you felt a strange pause in your spirit, as if time itself slowed for a breath, and that moment was not empty. It was the space where heaven prepared to speak. I have been waiting for these few minutes with you, not because I needed time, but because your heart needed stillness. And now that you are here, listening, something begins to move. My beloved, you have been wondering why certain things in your life seem delayed, why doors that once looked open suddenly felt silent, why answers you prayed for seemed to travel slowly through the air before reaching you. You questioned whether your prayers were heard, whether your efforts mattered, whether the long nights of hope were simply echoes fading into the distance. But there is something you must understand in this moment. The delay you experienced was never abandonment. It was alignment. While you thought time was passing you by, unseen movements were taking place around you. Paths were being rearranged. Hearts were being softened. Opportunities were being positioned quietly beyond your sight. What felt like waiting was actually preparation. And even now, as you sit here listening, there is a shift approaching your life that will not arrive with loud noise or sudden chaos, but with a quiet certainty that settles into your spirit like sunrise after a long night. You may not yet see the full shape of it, but you have already begun to feel its presence. That subtle stirring you felt recently, that unexplainable sense that something is about to change, is not your imagination. It is the first whisper of movement. Heaven has been arranging moments for you that will unfold one after another in ways you could not have predicted. There were times when you almost gave up believing that change would come. You carried responsibilities that felt heavier than anyone realized. You smiled in conversations while quietly holding worries you did not share. There were days when you looked at your situation and wondered how things would ever shift, how the pressures around you could possibly turn into peace. Yet even during those moments, you were not walking alone. Every prayer spoken in frustration, every silent thought that reached upward in hope, every breath taken through uncertainty was noticed. My beloved, I see the weight you have been carrying, the quiet worries about money, the stress you rarely speak about, the nights when your mind refuses to rest. You have been praying for relief, and heaven has heard you. That is why you were guided to this message today. You are not meant to walk this financial journey in confusion and fear. You are meant to walk it with faith, clarity, and daily direction. To support you, a gentle 30-day faith and financial breakthrough system has been prepared for you. Inside, you will be guided step by step through daily prayers, simple money actions, and a peaceful structure for your finances. Nothing overwhelming, nothing complicated, just small faithful steps that begin to shift your path forward. If your heart is feeling called, if you are ready to release financial stress, if you are ready to move with both faith and wisdom, you can begin today. The link is waiting for you in the description. Take the step when you feel ready. I am guiding you forward. But listen closely now, because what is unfolding in your life reaches far beyond one area of struggle. The season you have been living in is nearing its turning point. The quiet endurance you carried was not wasted effort. It was strengthening something within you that will soon become visible. There are moments approaching when things that once seemed uncertain will begin to make sense. Pieces that appeared disconnected will align in ways that cause you to pause and realize that nothing was random after all. You may remember a moment recently when something almost happened in your favor, but then slipped away unexpectedly. That moment confused you. You wondered it was an opportunity lost forever. Yet what you did not see was the reason it paused. Some things must arrive at the exact moment when they will grow, not the moment when they would fade. Timing matters more than speed. And the timing around your life is being adjusted carefully. My child, there are people who will soon cross your path again, conversations that will reopen, doors that will appear where walls once stood. But when these moments arrive, they will feel different from the past because you are different now. The strength you gained during the quiet season changed the way you see yourself. The patience you learned reshaped the way you approach opportunity. The wisdom you gain through struggle will guide you as new paths begin to appear. Do not be surprised if clarity begins arriving in small waves. At first it may come through a simple idea, a conversation that sparks a new thought, or an unexpected sense of peace about a decision you once feared making. Then gradually, those small signals will begin forming a pattern. You will start recognizing that something larger is unfolding, something that has been quietly moving toward you for longer than you realized. There are truths that are beginning to surface in your life, truths that were hidden beneath confusion and distraction for a long time. Some of these truths will bring relief because they will confirm what your heart already sensed. Others may bring moments of surprise because they reveal why certain situations unfolded the way they did. But every piece of clarity arriving now is part of the same movement, the unveiling of your next chapter. And while this shift approaches, you may feel an unusual mixture of calm and anticipation, as though your spirit is preparing for something your mind cannot yet fully explain. That feeling is not accidental. It is the quiet signal that you are stepping into alignment with a moment that has been approaching for a long time. Even now, there are changes forming just beyond what you can currently see. Conversations are happening in places you have never visited. Decisions are being made by people who have never met you, yet their choices will intersect with your path. Opportunities are beginning to move closer, slowly at first, but with growing momentum. What once felt distant will soon feel near. And as these movements continue, something important will happen within you as well. The worry that once filled your thoughts will begin to loosen its grip. The questions that kept returning at night will start to fade as answers arrive through experience rather than explanation. Confidence will replace hesitation, and peace will quietly settle where anxiety once lived. My beloved, this is why you were drawn here today. Not by accident, not by chance, but by the quiet guidance that moves through your life, even when you are unaware of it. The message you are hearing now is part of that guidance. And if you remain attentive, if you continue listening with an open heart, you will begin to notice that this moment is not the end of a message, but the beginning of a sequence. Because something significant has already begun moving toward you, and the next part of what I must reveal will make the timing of everything suddenly clear. Because something significant has already begun moving toward you. And what I am about to reveal now is the part of the story you could not see, while you were walking through those silent days of uncertainty. My child, there was a moment not long ago when you felt an unusual heaviness in your spirit, as if something inside you knew that change was approaching even though your circumstances still looked the same. That moment was not confusion. It was preparation. While you were going about your daily life, thinking that nothing had shifted yet, something powerful had already begun to move in the unseen spaces surrounding your path. You see, there are moments in life when heaven waits for the exact second, when a heart becomes open enough to receive direction, not because the message did not exist before, but because timing determines whether the message will grow or fade. I have been watching the rhythm of your days, the quiet endurance you carried through situations that tested your patience, your faith, and sometimes even your confidence in the future. And now the moment that was quietly forming around you has reached the edge of arrival. My beloved, you may not realize it yet, but something began shifting not long before you encountered this message. Perhaps it started with a thought that appeared suddenly in your mind, an idea that felt strangely clear compared to the confusion you had been experiencing before. Or maybe it came through a conversation, a small event that seemed ordinary at first, but left a lingering feeling in your heart that something important had just happened. These were not random moments. They were signals. There are people who are about to enter your path again, and when they appear, you may at first wonder why the timing feels so precise. The reason is simple, my child. Alignment has been taking place quietly behind the scenes. Situations that once seemed disconnected are beginning to form a pattern that will soon become visible. When that clarity arrives, you will look back at the last few months of your life and realize that every delay, every closed door, every confusing moment was guiding you toward a path that could not open until now. And this is why the urgency you feel in your spirit is real. Not the kind of urgency that creates fear, but the kind that awakens awareness. Something in your life is preparing to move forward more quickly than it has in a long time. Opportunities that once felt distant will begin approaching you in ways that seem almost unexpected. But understand this carefully, because it is important that changes coming are not random blessings appearing without reason. They are the result of seeds that were planted long ago through your patience, your resilience, and the quiet faith you held on to even when circumstances made it difficult. My child, there were nights when your thoughts were filled with questions about the future. You wondered how certain financial pressures would resolve, how certain responsibilities would become lighter, and how the path ahead would begin to make sense again. In those moments it sometimes felt as if you were carrying the entire weight of those worries alone. But the truth is that your concerns were never ignored. Each one was heard. My beloved, I see the weight you have been carrying, the quiet worries about money, the stress you rarely speak about, the nights when your mind refuses to rest. You have been praying for relief, and heaven has heard you. That is why you were guided to this message today. You are not meant to walk this financial journey in confusion and fear. You are meant to walk it with faith, clarity, and daily direction. To support you, a gentle 30-day faith and financial breakthrough system has been prepared for you. Inside you will be guided step by step through daily prayers, simple money actions, and peaceful structure for your finances. Nothing overwhelming, nothing complicated, just small faithful steps that begin to shift your path forward. If your heart is feeling called, If you are ready to release financial stress, if you are ready to move with both faith and wisdom, you can begin today. The link is waiting for you in the description. Take the step when you feel ready. I am guiding you forward. And as you continue listening now, something within you may already feel different. That quiet heaviness that once filled your thoughts is slowly beginning to loosen its grip. The sense that your life had become stuck in a repeating cycle is starting to dissolve. This is happening because the season that surrounded you is shifting. You have walked through a period where patience was required, where growth was taking place beneath the surface of your life without visible proof. But now the surface itself is beginning to change. My child, there are revelations approaching you. Some will arrive through understanding, others through events that unfold at exactly the right moment. You will begin noticing patterns that were invisible before. Conversations will suddenly make sense. Opportunities that once seemed impossible will start appearing in ways that feel strangely natural. When these things happen, do not rush past them. Pause. Pay attention. Because these are the moments where the path ahead begins revealing itself piece by piece. There is also something else you must understand about the change that is approaching your life. It will not come as chaos or confusion. True transformation rarely arrives through disorder. Instead, it comes with a quiet authority that settles into your spirit first, long before your circumstances fully reflect it. You may wake up one morning and realize that the fear you carried for so long has suddenly become lighter. Decisions that once felt impossible will begin to feel clear. This is how alignment begins to show itself. And while this unfolding continues, you may feel an increasing sense that your life is moving toward something meaningful. Not a vague hope, but a real direction. The experiences you have walked through were shaping your perspective, so that when the next opportunity arrives, you will recognize it with wisdom, rather than hesitation. That is why the waiting season was necessary. My beloved, stay close to this message for a moment longer, because what I am revealing now is only the beginning of what you are meant to understand. The path that is opening before you has more layers than you currently realize. Even now, certain events are quietly forming that will intersect with your life sooner than you expect. When they appear, they will not feel random. They will feel like answers to questions you asked long ago. And when that moment comes, you will remember this message. You will remember the quiet feeling you had while listening, the subtle sense that something was shifting even before you could see it. Because the truth is that the movement has already started. The change that once felt distant has begun its journey toward you. Remain attentive, my child, because the next part of what is unfolding in your life will reveal why everything had to happen exactly the way it did. And when you see it clearly, you will understand that this moment you are living in right now was never ordinary. It was the doorway to the change that had been waiting for you all along.